Welcome to the Kiwi Wedding Podcast. I'm excited for you to hear this one. It is a DIY goodie. Just quickly wanted to say a shout out to everyone that came to Wild Hearts Wedding Fair over the weekend. If you're listening to this on the week that it comes out, it was so lovely to meet a whole lot of you listeners there, hearing about your weddings and even chatting to a few that are going to come on once you get married. So exciting to meet you in person. There's a lot going on at the moment, so I just want to remind you as well that there is the Little Wolf and Friends showcase at Brad's Warehouse in the city if you're in Auckland this Sunday, the 24th of September. 2023. It is a bunch of amazing vendors and it's going to be all beautifully set up. Come and get some inspiration for your day and meet and chat to us. I'm going to be there. And yeah, if you haven't heard of Brad's Warehouse, it's this beautiful old bluestone building in the city, 19th century vibe, really cool and unique one to check out. It's definitely giving me New York vibes, which I love. So I really encourage you to come along to that, and you can actually get free tickets. I will put a link in this episode and I would love to see you there. Today on the podcast we have Hannah. She had a very much DIY wedding, and this is going to be really good to listen to, and you'll hear how they had quite a decent number of guests still but managed to keep it in quite a small budget. These are just a couple of things that they did DIY. I think we covered most of them, but yeah, they did their own flowers. The girls did their own hair and makeup. Hannah actually made her wedding cake herself. They borrowed a veil. She did get her dress made by the lovely Fritz and Sarah, and it was gorgeous. They had a lot of secondhand table decor that they sourced from op shops. Hannah's mum made the candles. Her brother did the graphic design and signage. They had a friend that did dad cam video footage. The bridesmaids bought their own dresses, and they had a kind of BYO alcohol situation where they could bring it onto the venue themselves. So that is just some of the things. I was their wedding photographer, which was amazing, and we'll share some of those photos on the Instagram page at the Kiwi Wedding Podcast. Give us a follow if you aren't already, and enjoy episode 8 with Hannah. Hi Hannah, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to sit and chat with you today.
So good. I'm so excited to chat. And I was your wedding photographer, so I know a little bit about your story and behind the scenes, and we're also friends as well. So it's cool to chat to you. And yeah, I can't wait for everyone to hear about your day.
Yeah.
So to start with, can you tell me a little bit about you and your husband, how you guys met, and your life together?
Yeah, sure. I'm Hannah. I met my husband Mackenzie almost 6 years ago. We were working a summer job, and we dated for 5 years, and we've been married 5.5 years, and we've been married for 4 months now. We're both nurses. We love being outdoors. We spend a lot of our time hiking, and that's pretty much us.
And can you tell us a bit about your proposal story, how that all went down?
Yeah, of course. We on our first official date that we went to this hill out south in Flatbush area, and we had a picnic there. And whilst we through our years of dating, we've gone back a few times to the hill to have a picnic, kind of recreate our first date. And the one day it was a terrible day. I had finished a uni assignment in the morning. I was on my period, the worst day ever. But Mac suggested that we go out to the hill to have a picnic, and I was like, oh yeah, fine, sure, why not? So we went out for a picnic there. We were watching the sunset, and Mac proposed, which was really really special. So special to be back at that place. So we had our first proper date. It was a place that's always been really special to us. So that's how he proposed.
So cool to now have that as your proposal spot. Can keep going back there.
Definitely relive the moment.
Had you been one of those girls that always dreamed about their wedding? And yeah, what was like your vision and vibe for the day? And yeah, how did the process start with like finding a venue, all of that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think I'm like any girl thought about my wedding. I'd never really had this like set idea in my mind. Um, but when we like leading up to getting engaged, we had obviously spoken about getting engaged, kind of like bounced ideas around. And then when we got engaged, we sat down and sort of figured out what we wanted for our day, like the vision. And for us, we just wanted a day that reflected both of us equally in the day. And so I guess that's kind of where we started. I I wanted lots of color like on the tables. That was pretty much my only thing. But in terms of a venue, we were quite relaxed. We weren't too bothered. The venue we ended up choosing, we went with because they had this beautiful forest area, and that was kind of like the selling point for us. Yeah, we were both really relaxed about it. Didn't really have a set style or vision for it, but it all came together. Yeah, beautifully. We really wanted to reflect our like cultural like our heritage in our day. So my husband Mackenzie is Samoan and I'm from South Africa. So we just kind of used that as our starting point. Had lots of like flowers that incorporated both of those things. And yeah, just that was kind of like our vision, I guess. We just wanted a day that was very reflective of us, which I guess influenced our style.
So you ended up finding the Hunua Falls campground for your venue, which was beautiful. And yeah, I think they have like high school and like kids camps there a lot, so people might not know that it's also a wedding venue. And yeah, tucked away in the Hanuas near the falls, if you've ever been there, and that beautiful forest which you were planning to have your ceremony in.
Yeah.
It's a bit of weather, always is New Zealand, that got in the way of that, but still a really beautiful chapel on site. So, how did you guys come across that? Did you already know about it?
Um, I honestly like when we decided on kind of doing like a BYO DIY wedding, which was all because of like food and budget. We I just started searching places. We looked at a couple places online and we decided to go and look at the Hunua Falls camp, firstly because of the forest, also because it was quite secluded. We loved the idea of being in like quite a quiet place. Um, and close to the falls is always lovely as well. So we had a look at it and settled on it because of the forest. That was like definitely our selling point, which we obviously didn't get to use. But the chapel on site is absolutely stunning as well. And in hindsight, we're so grateful that everything worked out the way it did because the chapel was like the perfect spot to have it. But yeah, we just loved like the serenity of the place. Like it, I don't know, like in the evening you could just hear all the birds and it was misty and quiet and yeah, just beautiful and green. So yeah, that is why we chose it. Um, and it was just yeah, it was the perfect spot to have. We could have it from the day before to the day after to sort of set up, sit down. Yeah,
Definitely a magical spot that, yeah, people might not know about. So, it's one to
yeah,
check out for sure. And
definitely.
yeah, we've kind of talked a little bit, but what were your most important elements on the day, like in terms of dress, food, photos, different vendors? Yeah, what were your top priorities?
Oh, I think food was definitely our top priority. That was kind of our influencing factor for our venue. We really wanted this Brazilian barbecue company to cater our wedding. That also comes back from like a South African heritage and Samoan. Like barbecue is very popular in both places, and especially over coals, like being cooked over coals. So, yeah, that was what we wanted for the day, and that influenced having to find a venue that was BYO, being able to do it all ourselves. So that was like our first priority. Um, and other than that, I think music was another one. We had a live band, All About Rosie, play for our reception. So that was really important to us as well. We also had a friend from church play in our ceremony. So yeah, food and music were like the two key things for us, and everything else just kind of followed on, which was really cool. Yeah,
Love that. And I can definitely vouch for your food. It was amazing. So delicious. Definitely some of
very
the best wedding food I've ever had. So can you tell me about your wedding outfits on the day, your dress, how you found it or got it made? Yeah, that whole process.
Yeah, sure. So I had my dress made by Fritz and Sarah. Um, we actually go to church with Sarah, so I had tried on wedding dresses, sort of had no idea what I wanted, but yeah, went to try on wedding dresses with some bridesmaids, and then the final dress that I tried on was this like blush dress, and I just loved the blush undertone on my very pale skin. Um, all the white dresses completely washed me out. So I was, yeah, up until that point, I was kind of like, oh, don't love any of these. I knew that I wanted something quite loose, like loose around the waist, something that kind of flowed. Didn't want anything too like tight fitting. And I did love lace. I've always loved lace wedding dresses. Yeah, they're absolutely beautiful. I love how they sparkle and catch the light when they've got glitter in them and stuff. So yeah, this dress that I tried on, it was stunning. It had like detailing in the top, and yeah, the pink undertone was beautiful. And I spoke to Sarah the one day, and was telling her all about this dress I'd found, and she said to me, she was like, "Oh, come see Fritz and I. Like, we'll make the dress for you," which was so special. It was the most enjoyable process. Like, my mum and I went to every appointment together. They sort of I took photos to them of this dress I had tried on, and Fritz drew me up like a drawing of what my dress could look like, and we sort of went from there. Um, every appointment, yeah, they sort of changed things, and um, yeah, it was just such a fun process. Like, the dress fitted me perfectly. It had a beautiful blush undertone. The blush lace that they used underneath was actually originally from South Africa, which was really cool. So it sort of felt like there were these little um, bits in it that were really personal. They added sleeves onto the dress that could come off. It was honestly like my dream dress. It was so much fun working with them. Nothing I could have picked off the shelf. So yeah, that was my dress. Yeah, still in love with it to this day.
It was stunning, and yeah, we'll definitely share a few photos of that. And I've heard so many rave reviews about Fritz and Sarah. They're so talented at what they do.
They're absolutely incredible. Like, honestly, highly recommend them to everyone. Yeah.
Can you talk about who was in your bridal party? How was that process choosing them? Was it easy, hard?
Yeah, sure. So my husband Mackenzie, he has four brothers. That was sort of our starting point. He wanted all of his brothers in his bridal party, and I've got a younger brother who he wanted to have as well. So we sort of started with five on his side. I've always been like, I don't want uneven bridal parties, and I knew that I had always wanted his little sister as well. She's one of my really good friends. So that was sort of our starting point, and then I chose my four closest friends. So my maid of honor is my childhood best friend. We grew up together in South Africa, and she now lives in the UK. So she came over, and then the other three friends were all friends that I've been like growing up with since primary, pretty much. So yeah, and still really good friends to this day. So that was sort of the process we went through. I think if we had been able to, I know Mac would have loved to have had a few of his friends as well in the bridal party, but with having so many brothers, it sort of, yeah, it like cut us to, yeah, we settled on five. We were like, we can't have this huge, huge long line of people. Um, but yeah, that was our process. We both found it really easy. We really enjoyed it. It was, yeah, it wasn't a hard process at all.
That's so true with big families. I've got three sisters as well, so it's like
Yeah.
already half of it taken. But yeah, it's cool to involve them, and yeah, you can't really just pick one. So it was nice. How many guests did you guys have, and how was that process? Did you find that difficult to narrow down?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, narrowing it down guess was definitely like the hardest part of planning. Um, we had a larger ceremony, smaller reception. So we had I think like 110 people for our ceremony, and then our reception was somewhere around 85. Um, that was, yeah, narrowing it down was really hard. We sort of we split the guest list in half. We were like, we've got half each. That was the easiest way to do it for us, just with, yeah, lots of family and stuff. So yeah, that was kind of where we started, and then we went back and forth for quite a while. I guess there's so many people that are so important in your life, so many people that have gone through life with you, and it's sort of trying to figure out how, yeah, to like sift through people, because there's people that have been around for a long time you may not necessarily see often, but you know, there are people that have been through your life for so many years. So we sort of settled on, yeah, just trying to pick people that we'd seen recently who had met both of us, and then people that we knew would see in the future, like we are going to stay in contact with. And then, yeah, I guess our part as well was we had quite a few friends who didn't know anyone. So we ended up inviting partners that we didn't necessarily know very well, but that was, for us, that was really important. We wanted those people that we're inviting that didn't know anyone to at least feel comfortable and be able to enjoy the day. So that also pushed our guest count up, because yeah, we factored in partners into that as well. But yeah, the guest list was definitely something that we went back and forth on for a long time. Finally settled on it.
It's always a difficult process for everyone, but yeah, I think you did that really well and were quite thoughtful about it.
Yeah.
Yes. So can you tell us a bit about the day, how it all went, and yeah, any favorite moments from the day?
Oh yeah, the day was beautiful. Like we both said, it was just the most perfect day. For us girls, from the morning, it was just so relaxed. We all did our own hair and makeup, which, yeah, I think made the day so relaxing, because we were all sort of getting ready together. There was no one waiting their next turn. So yeah, the morning was super chill. The boys had a really chill morning as well. Um, the ceremony, yeah, everything ran so smoothly. The ceremony was absolutely beautiful, and then we left to have photos, which was really special. That was probably, having our photos done was one of our like favorite moments, because we just got to spend this really concentrated time together, um, which was, yeah, really special, just to sit and be like, wow, this has happened. Like we've dreamt about this day for so many years, and now we're here. Um, so that was really cool, just to have that time together. And then, yeah, our reception was lovely as well. Food was great, music was good. It was just so nice to be surrounded by all the people we loved, like in one space. um, yeah, we loved our day. Highlight would definitely have been the photos, though. That was really cool. And at the end of the night, to sort of, we stayed right until the end, until people were like leaving, and it was just so cool to be able to like say goodbye to everyone, and then sit in the space once everyone has sort of left, to be like, wow, this is like, this was our day. Like, you're just soaking up all that emotion and the feelings, and yeah, we were just on this high, which was really cool. So that was also an amazing part of the day for us.
I love that you had those little moments where you kind of just stopped and were present, soaking it all in. That's so important.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it was cool. We did a bunch with the bridal party at the venue and then just went off site with just the two of you, which I definitely recommend if you guys can
Yeah,
factor that into your day. So it's a lot easier just transporting the two of you. And then, yeah, you
yeah,
just kind of get a bit more of that special time without a bit of a crowd watching on.
yeah, exactly. And I think for the bridal party, it was great, because I think they would have all gotten really bored. So it was, yeah, it was nice to like have our photos with them, and then we had this time together. And obviously for us, it's like the highlight of our day. So yeah, it was a really special time. Yeah.
So, yeah, when you think back on the wedding planning process, is there anything you regret or would do um, differently, or yeah, anything you found hard about it?
Not really, to be honest. I think our planning process was like pretty good. When we got engaged, we pretty much chose our venue within like the next month. We only had 6.5 months between when we got engaged to when we got married, which I loved. I loved that it was just this really small, concentrated time. It sort of forced us to get things done, which was really nice. It didn't drag on. and our lives also weren't consumed by wedding planning for a long time, which was beautiful. Um, but yeah, we got things done quite quickly. Like I sourced everything that we needed within the first few months, and then it was just sort of waiting and doing the little details. Yeah, I really enjoyed the planning process. There's nothing that I really regret or would have done differently. I think yeah, for the most part, it was pretty good, quite relaxed.
And did you guys have a set budget, and how much did you end up spending? Yeah, even a ballpark figure if you're happy to talk about that.
Yeah, of course. I think budget is something that is so important to speak about. It was something that we were really set on having quite a small budget. So we originally budgeted $20,000 for our day, um, including everything. And the reason, a big part why we did that was because we wanted to spend 8 weeks overseas afterwards. And we sort of thought, for 8 weeks, we could spend $20,000 overseas, or we could spend that on like one day. So I think, yeah, that's sort of what influenced having a smaller budget. It was actually pretty good. It forced us to be quite nifty and crafty about how we did things. Um, I guess neither of us were super set on having this like perfect picture book wedding. We were both quite relaxed about how it turned out. So yeah, my brother did all of our design work, which was amazing. We were like super grateful for that. Um, all of our cutlery, plates, everything, I managed to source secondhand off like a buy and sell page. So we saved a lot of money. Even fairy lights, we got them all secondhand. What else did we? All of our hair and makeup we did ourselves. That was actually something that I'd asked the girls about. I've got really curly hair naturally, didn't really want anyone doing my hair for the day. um, and makeup wise, I wanted something quite natural, so I was really happy to do it myself. When I presented the idea to the bridesmaids, they were all on board with that. I said to them like I'd be happy to pay for it if it was something that they really wanted, but all of them had previously been bridesmaids and wanted to do their own hair and makeup based off their previous experiences. So yeah, that worked out really well, in our favor, and it definitely saves a lot of money. Flowers we did ourselves, so I went to the flower market in Mount Wellington on the Monday. We got married on the Thursday and sourced all of our flowers for the tables, the bouquets, boutonnieres, everything. And then I also got a bucket of flowers from a local grower. So because we weren't too phased about a specific style, we just had lots of color. It turned out beautifully and it made flower shopping really easy. I put together all of our bouquets for the girls, and my maid of honor did all the boutonnieres for the boys, and it was actually a really fun thing we did on the Tuesday evening. Just so nice to kind of like pause and relax and create something together, which also saved us a lot of money. I think we ended up only spending like $300 on flowers for everything. um, Other than that, I think food was our biggest cost on our budget, which we were more than happy to spend because that was a priority. And yeah, photography, we had Lids shoot for us, which was amazing. And videography, we didn't have a videographer, so that was one of our like deal breakers. Before, when we were planning, we sort of sat down and said like these are each of our priorities, and from there we went. So from the get-go, Mac was like, I cannot justify having a videographer. Like I'd much rather spend more on a photographer, because if we're having a videographer, we're going to look at that video, you know every few months, but photos are something that we'll have around our house, we'll look at a lot. And I agree. I mean, I couldn't really argue it with him. So yeah, we settled on no videographer, and we actually had two friends shoot our day on like the old school dad cams. And yeah, Anna's put together a wedding video for us, which was really cool. Very candid, very special, and it meant that we could have her and Henry a part of our day. So Anna was with us girls in the morning. She also helped us with like hair and makeup, just like all the little touch ups. So it was really special to have them in like an important part of our day. Yeah, so those were kind of like the things that we did to save budget wise. I'm just trying to think what else we did. But yeah, we had a lot of people like help us set up the day before. we obviously we did everything from scratch. So yeah, we had all of that done. And then yeah, I borrowed napkins from a friend who had made them for her wedding, who had previously gotten married. So it was all those like little things. My mum sourced all of the vases from like op shops for us, and then she made all the candles as well. So we had just gotten yeah, little. I'd actually got like Kmart candle holders from a girl who had sold me some other stuff. She'd just given them to us, and we cleaned them out, and then mum made fresh candles. So that was really cool. And yeah, we just sort of sourced what we could. Yeah, try to save money where possible. I think it definitely made us like crafty, and it's definitely something that you can do. I think there's this massive thing around budget to spend all of this money on one day, and to have this day that yeah looks a certain way. But I think at the end of the day, for us, like our day was a reflection of who we are as a couple. And we were able to do it on a really good budget. So we came away from it not regretting what we had spent, or not feeling like we had, yeah, spent too much on it. So yeah, I think it can definitely be done. No, everyone told us we'd never be able to do it at 20,000, and I think we ended up spending 21,000 all up. So definitely something that can be done.
So impressive how much you guys did yourselves, and just with like getting family and friends to help was, yeah, amazing, and so good to for people to hear that it can be done for sure.
Yeah.
You did the girls get their own dresses? Most of them were in like dish dresses.
So yeah, the girls bought their own dresses. I sort of, because I was wearing like a blush pink dress, there was sort of no color that really would tie in, and I wanted the pink to sort of stand out standing next to them. So they all wore white dresses, and I said to them, you know, like you can get any white dress you want. You can get like a cream, or just as long as everyone has like a similar color. And they all, none of them really wanted to wear satin, which is totally understandable. Um, they all settled on wearing linen, and I was like, yeah, go for it. Like as long as you're all comfortable, you can all wear the dress again. Yeah, so that was also really cool. But yeah, I paid for their shoes, but yeah, they bought their own dresses. So yeah.
So nice. And yeah, definitely actually one of those dresses you'd wear again. Like people always say that to bridesmaids, but
Yeah.
these were really nice, and linen's always beautiful. And did you guys just source all your own, like you had a bit of wine and beer alcohol?
Yeah, so because it was a BYO venue, we just yeah sourced it. So the beer and like soft drinks and stuff we bought from the supermarket, but the wine, a family friend of ours, he used to own a winery, so we were able to get wine from him at cost price, and it was really good wine, which yeah, we were really lucky to be able to do that. But I guess those little things really help, like just being able to think about who you have around you. Yeah, that family friend was more than happy to yeah get us wine at at that price. So I think it's just yeah, seeing who's around you, what they're willing to like help you with. And yeah, that was really nice. It was nice to be able to have that. But that obviously BYO, we didn't have a huge bar tab or anything. I think we only spent like $800 on drinks all up, and we had so much left over at the end. So yeah, it was sort of we definitely over calculated. Yeah, but those little things definitely help. So yeah.
Amazing. That can be a big expense. So yeah, you've definitely been savvy in all those different areas. It's so cool to hear. And you mentioned that you went on quite a decent honeymoon after your wedding day. So can you talk a little bit about what planning that looked like? Because I know going overseas for like 8 weeks is almost as much planning as planning a wedding. So yeah, how did you go with doing both of them at the same time?
Yeah. So, like I said earlier, we did a lot of the wedding stuff pretty soon off the bat. So we sort of, there were only like a few little things to sort of sort out, and all the stuff that you could sort of sort out closer to the day, which meant that we had a lot of time for yeah honeymoon planning. We had always wanted to go to Vietnam and Turkey together, so those were, we decided we'd just do it all in one trip. Like this was sort of our chance to do it. Um, we were supposed to go overseas in 2020, but obviously COVID happened, so decided that we'd be able to get the time off work because we were getting married. When we spoke to our bosses, they were like, "Oh yeah, to honeymoon you can take like as long as you want," sort of thing. So we just really utilized that. We The planning was, yeah, was quite extensive, um, but yeah, it came together quite quickly. We sort of got our flights booked, and then it was just figuring out what we wanted to do in each country. We, yeah, spent 2 weeks in Vietnam, 2 weeks in Turkey, and then some time in the UK and Europe as well, just seeing some family that Mac hadn't met before. So yeah, it was the planning was, it was quite a bit on the side of wedding planning, but I personally really enjoy planning. So yeah, I didn't mind it. Once we sort of had discussed what we wanted to do, Mac was quite happy with me just booking accommodation, and we both have a similar idea of like budget and all that sort of thing. So yeah, it was actually it was quite easy once we got into it. But yeah, very daunting when you're looking at both of the things together. Yeah, it does seem like a lot. So yeah,
I love that though. Just, yeah, why not do the trip together and yeah, go to your dream destinations, and
yeah,
so cool. You can just get it done bit by bit, planning everything.
no,
Yeah.
definitely.
Cool. So you've given a lot of amazing advice already, but is there anything else you would say to couples planning their wedding right now?
Oh, this is actually, yeah, a piece of advice that my mum gave Mac when he went to my parents to ask them if he could marry me. She said to him to make sure that the day is all about us, and to not let anyone influence our decisions or push us to do things that we didn't want our day to have, which really, yeah, we both really stuck to that. And it meant that when we encountered any obstacles or other people's opinions, we were like, actually, no, this day is about us. Like, it's not about our family or our friends. So we want it to be a reflection of like who we are. So yeah, that would be my biggest piece of advice. Like, just remember that it's your day. It's no one else's day. I know that when weddings come around, people often have a lot of like pressure and influence from families and friends and stuff. But yeah, the day is about you, and at the end of the day, you're going to be the ones looking back on it, being like, oh, we regret this, we love this. So if you make the day as authentic and true to who you guys are as a couple, yeah, I think it'll be like, yeah, a beautiful day. But that's probably my biggest piece of advice. Yeah.
It's great advice. So important. Just stick to your guns and yeah, making it a reflection of you. Did you you're back home, like settled at home now after your yeah wedding then big trip. So what is married life like now? Do you feel like you had any of the post wedding blues? I mean, I think going on that epic honeymoon probably helped, but yeah, how are things now?
Yeah, it's actually really funny. Mac and I were talking about post wedding blues the other day, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I didn't really, have any post wedding blues." And he was like, "Oh, well, we were away for a long time," which yeah, definitely helps. I think we sort of got thrust into like honeymoon and travel that we didn't really have a chance to like reflect on the fact that we weren't going to be planning a wedding or that this day was over. We were just kind of on a high the whole time. I felt pretty good. I think by the time we got home from overseas, we were ready to be home and sort of like establish life together. Um, it's been really fun. We've just been like setting up our house. I had sort of moved everything out of my parents like the week before, 2 weeks before the wedding, into here, and so I was kind of living out of a box at my parents' house. And so when we got home, I was like, oh, I can like unpack and make the space ours. Mac had been living in the house for a few months prior, so just had to make it a bit more homely looking. But yeah, it's been really nice. It's so lovely to just like be with your best friend all the time. Yeah, we get to like do so much more together. Um, yeah, I love it. It's been really cool.
Amazing. That's so good. Is there anything else you want to add about your day or any wisdom from your 4 months of marriage?
No, not that I can think of. Yeah, I think with wedding planning, just have fun, um, make it a reflection of who you are, and I think that is, yeah, that's like the best part of the whole day. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks so much for coming on the pod, Hannah.
No worries. Thanks for having me. Lovely chat.